Welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the show where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that has been rotting our screens and indeed our minds.
What are we doing here?
Well, basically, for the last few years, I've been sending you dreadful shite that I've found on social media.
Yeah.
At awful hours of the day.
God, no. Usually on your way home from a gig.
Usually on my way home from a gig.
Yeah.
I've been taking your attention away from your wife, your friends, and your family to make you watch this shit.
Yeah.
And I think, seeing as I've been doing that to you for a few years, it's only fair we start doing it to other people as well.
I think that's right, yeah. I think there's a whole load of people out there that need these kind of bizarre personalities explained to them.
Yeah. I think most people watch the same shit we do. Yeah. Freaks on the internet who film themselves doing all sorts of crap and have amassed millions of followers by doing so. We all do it. We all sit around watching it at all hours when we should be sleeping, when we should be working, when we should be seeing our family. It's about time we started fucking talking about it. So that's what we're here for. And
we've spent, what, £8 on a scarf?
Yeah. Without that.
No VAT on that, thank God.
We've asked around with cameras to the point where we've just given up and started using my phone. I've had to delete videos of my children being born to create enough storage space that we can make this. So it better be fucking good. So that's why we're here. That's what we're doing, and that's what this podcast is going to be.
And I think what really encourages me is I think you're like a kind of savant with this stuff. Do you know what I mean? You like really know your stuff on this. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to talk about podcasting.
No, not podcasting.
I am a savant on rot. Yeah, I am a savant on rot. Also got the award from the Arias. Bosch.
Yeah, that's an award for Rot Analyst of the Year, 2012. And that's the thing. I think you've got a lot to share with the good people of the internet, and I think that it's almost a public service, really, in a way.
Yeah, we should be getting taxpayer money for this.
Yeah, the effect that this is going to have on our men's mental health.
Yeah.
Not let alone the rest of the nation's men's mental health. It's just it's unfathomable.
I think within a few months, Nando's are going to pay for us to sit next to Big Zoo, Uncle Roger, and one of our great lionesses.
Yeah,
and we can sit there in a Nando's booth and talk about how our men's mental health is getting both better and worse because of this podcast.
Yeah, MC Grinder, Big Zoo, and Jill Scott from I'm a Celebrity, explaining how the men's mental health. I mean, we've picked an incredible person for the first episode.
The first episode, I think this guy sums up everything this is about, in the sense that he's a self-made internet celebrity.
Yeah.
He's a family man. He embodies all of our values.
Yeah.
And he's fucking funny.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
This week we're talking about
Big John.
Bosh.
Oi, get on this. Big John. In my opinion, Big John is the closest that the modern British man can get to Tony Soprano.
Yeah, okay. I like that. I wasn't expecting. I think worth saying as well, as we go through and do this analysis, we're going to play some clips. We're going to, if you're listening, you'll be able to hear them. If you're watching, you'll be able to see the clips as well. It's kind of like a Monday Night Football, but for it's
Carragher with the VR headset.
Yeah,
on. But it's also, as you learn in GCSE, when you're trying to make your argument, you have to include sources.
Yes, you do.
You have to cite.
You do.
You have
to cite your sources. Yeah.
And
this is what I mean about you being. You've got an instinctive flair for this, as well as these kind of these Bond mots. So you think Big John?
I think Big John. I remember for years, one of my closest mates convinced me to watch The Sopranos, and his way of doing so, every time we were pissed, he'd be like, you have to watch it. You will know Tony Soprano better than you know yourself, right? Which is obviously like coked up garbage, but it's rubbish. It doesn't make any sense.
Rot.
He was like 22 at the time. He's like, what are you on about? He's like, it's a show about a 50-year-old dad.
Yeah.
But Big John... When I watch Big John, I see every vulnerability that I feel on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? In the lines on his face, I see the struggle that I feel on a day-to-day basis. And every time he laughs and smiles, it reminds me about why I feel good about the world sometimes.
It's funny the way that these like internet personalities can have that outsized effect on your emotions, isn't it?
Well, it's because I spend more time watching him than I do speaking to my parents. Like, I think a lot of what this podcast is about is that whether we're talking about Big John or any of the other people we're going to talk about in these episodes, we spend so much time looking at these people, talking about these people, rewatching the videos of them, that I do think about him. I look at him more than I look in a fucking mirror. So I do look at him more than myself. And I think we should explain who Big John is.
Yeah, let's do a bit of context,
So Big John is a kind of Romford-based dad.
First.
A father of 4.
I think so.
And he sort of rose to prominence sort of around lockdown, as many of the people we're going to talk about did.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how to describe it. He's like an Essex everyman.
Yes.
Who has used like Bosh as a kind of like catchphrase.
Yeah.
Which I think actually, again, I've done my research.
Yeah.
And he got that off of Tom Skinner.
Right.
The sort of apprentice hopeful turned mattress sale.
Not a sentence you say every day.
No.
Who's one of the most popular figures in British culture? He was on The Apprentice for a bit. Now he sells mattresses.
Yeah, I don't want to get too bogged down in Tom Skinner. That's an episode for another day. I will say now, if Tom Skinner ran for Prime Minister, he'd clean up. But that's something for another day.
Let's leave that one.
That's something for another day.
Too rich.
So Big John is like a big Essex dad who kind of films himself driving around saying Bosh. That's kind of how it starts, right? It's worth saying his son is a British heavyweight fighter. He's like 23, but he's genuinely a really good boxer. So, which is why the tone of this episode is going to be particularly kind and supportive. So that his rhinoceros of an eldest doesn't come and fucking trample our skulls.
Episode 2 of the Screen Rock podcast, I'm speaking through a broken jaw. My jaw's wired shut. You've got 2 black eyes. Doing a real Kanye West through the wire moment.
Doing a live episode from Whittington Hospital. Because Johnny Fisher's broken our head. Just for confusion, Big John's son is, of course, named after himself, Johnny Fisher.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Big John is this kind of Essex dad who films himself driving around saying Bosh. And it's kind of exploded. Yeah. He's massive now. I think he must have like 250,000 followers.
Yeah.
And it's
kind of out. It's like he's taken his son, whilst a very good boxer and very famous through that. He's more famous than his kind of boxing.
Yeah, well, his son talks about this.
Right.
His son talks about he's like, my dad's more famous than me. He's like, if I walk down the street, people will stop my dad and be like, oh, Big John Bosh, and then like he'll literally have people going, excuse me, mate, I don't know who you are. Would you mind taking a picture of me and this guy? And,
Could the future heavyweight champion of the world just stand over there while me and this cheesemonger from Romford do a Bosh with each other? It's amazing.
But so we'll show a clip in a sec of the Bosh thing, because I think that's the thing. What's fascinating about Big John, and it's the same as the Tony Soprano thing, he transcends like demographics.
Yes, for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my agent is a Notting Hill raised 25-year-old who went to the most expensive school on the planet. Right, and he was at a wedding the other day with all these other fucking posh kids in their Jack Wills and their teeth the size of your thumb, right? And you can see him putting up videos going, "Hey guys, ready? Bosh." Do you know? And it's like, why are you quoting a fucking cheesemonger from Essex? But he's huge. He's everywhere. Footballers do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Footballers do it. Multi-millionaire footballers do it. Children do it. Big John does tours.
Your children do it.
My children do. I would say one of my daughter's first 30 words, genuinely, I'd say, obviously dad and mum were the first 2.
Yeah.
Somewhere within the top 30 was
Bosh.
And if I can, I'll put a video up on this episode of my daughter doing Bosh. But genuinely, my daughter says Bosh. Premier League footballers say Bosh. Posh kids say Bosh. Yeah. Everyone apart from women says Bosh. I don't think you could find one woman on the planet who has ever said Bosh to her friend. Yeah. But amongst men, he's fucking massive.
I know one woman who particularly enjoys Bosh, but then when the Boshes become too many, she then very much dislikes them, and that's my wife.
Is that your wife? Who is currently talking to a divorce lawyer.
Yeah, as we speak. She enjoys the first 15 Boshes of the day, but I think once we get past Bosh lunchtime, then it can become a bit frustrating.
Bosh lunchtime. Emma, what are you making for lunch? I'm just going to make a caprese salad. Bosh!
Shall we? I mean, we're not quite getting across doing justice to people that aren't aware of this national treasure. Should we do?
People will be watching this thinking, how has a man got this famous that you're making a podcast about him just by saying the word Bosh? So we should show how much variety there is in the Bosches that he produces. If we just
I would love you to do different variations of Bosch.
French Bosch, Le Bosch. Spanish Bosch, Il Bosch. German Bosch, Z Bosch. Greek Bosch, Yamas Bosch. Welsh Bosch, Boyle Bosch. Scottish Bosch, Bosch. There's just so many.
What's your favourite one?
I do like Le Bosch. The American one's good as well, the Ye Bosch.
I mean, that is just that video has occupied so much of my mental headspace over the last 12 months. I think the most interesting part about it is when he says, there's just so many.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of going out into the world and excavating them and discovering them and coming back. I mean, I've got another one. I've got Yamas. I've just found out Yamas. There's just so many.
He's like Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. Yeah. It's also, and I think this is why people love him so much. There is like an earnestness. There's like a childlike, and it's like, what the guy is saying to him is, John, you've made up all this shit. Tell me some of the shit you've made up. He's talking about them as if they're actual things that exist within the world outside of his like input. And the kind of childlike earnestness where he looks at the guy and he's like, there's just so many.
So many.
And he's like, it's as if the guy's gone, you're having a really good time saying Bosch, aren't you, John? And you're going, I'm having the best time.
I'm having a fantastic time. And I think American Bosch at the end being his favourite, because there's a mixture of like words that are from the language of the Bosch. So Yamas is a Greek word, I think is kind of like cheers, right? But then others rely on national stereotypes. So there's Bosch as well.
I don't for the life of me understand what Boyo Bosch is or why it's Welsh.
I think the Welsh are known for saying boyo. Hello boyo. They say stuff like that.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I fucking hope so. No, I've just said that. But
I don't like Welsh people, so I don't. But that's why I don't know.
That is not the official position of the Screen Rot podcast.
No. But 50% of our shareholders think you're fucking weird field people.
Our shareholders.
But yeah, no. I what I love about it the most is the earnestness and the fact that the guy sat in front of him. He isn't taking the piss.
No,
he's sort of been like, you know, what shit do you come out with on a daily basis?
There is a slightly Dancing Bear feel to it, though. Do you know what I mean? Like there is a like, because he often gets brought on places to do the Chinese order as well. And I actually
we should explain what that is, because that could sound horrendous. This is the other aspect.
Chinese food order.
Yeah, the other aspect of Big John that we haven't really mentioned yet. And actually, we've got a clip of this that we could skip to next. Should we do the one that he's done with the OnlyFans?
We can do that one,
just because this naturally plays. So the other thing about Big John that, again, a lot of people will be aware of, some might not. The guy eats Chinese food as if it's going to go out of fashion next week. Like, and I mean, he is on a diet. He seems to be on a diet once every 6 weeks. Which
bearing in mind who his son is, I would just say I'd like to congratulate him on the efforts with the diet.
Yes,
and go well.
And I would say, having, you know, I watch a lot of his videos, and it seems that a big facet of the diet is he's allowed one cheat meal a day. And I think that seems to be what he does. He goes, obviously I'm allowed to cheat every day, and today I've got a donut. And you're like, I think you've got that wrong, John. I think it's supposed to be one cheat meal a week, mate. Like, no wonder you're struggling. But basically, when he orders Chinese food, he orders about 15 things. He must be spending about 200 quid on Chinese food, and he's got a lot of kids, but I mean, one of them's like a fucking athlete.
Yeah,
it probably isn't
really
eating
be on
much
the chicken
of it.
balls. Yeah.
And the other ones are skinny as a rake, so fuck knows what they're eating. But yeah, so he orders a lot of Chinese food. He's known for doing that, and actually he's used his fame now to create his own little YouTube series where he gets people of note to come around his house and eat a Chinese meal with him. One of those people of note is OnlyFans star.
Yeah.
Elle Brooke.
Yeah.
In this next clip, we're going to see what I think is a trailer for his series, The Chinese Sit Down. And
it's got a bit of acting in it, hasn't it?
This is the thing, right? Someone in John's position, internet star, entertainer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on tour.
He's on tour. He's doing more tickets than we are, for sure.
Yeah. He's doing a tour of student unions where he throws prawn crackers at young girls and says Bosch. What a career.
Let's not think about that too specifically.
But so basically, his sons, I think, are kind of behind some of the stuff he does. They're sort of filming him and stuff. And so what this is a trailer for his series, but they've asked him to do a little bit of acting. Now, I would say some of the acting in this is quite decent.
Yeah.
At the start, when the porn star, OnlyFans star, is saying to him, "Hey, John, do you want it?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course." Yeah. He then does a bit of acting in the middle. which is some of the strangest performing I've ever seen on a screen.
The strangest thing I've ever seen. I mean, let's show it.
Big John, thank you so much for this big Chinese.
There's music in the background.
Anytime, El, you know, Chinese ain't round here anytime. No problem.
That's like David Brent.
You filled me right up, John, but I've still got room for more. Can I hold your big, juicy balls?
Now here we go.
Hold up a minute. Big John's got a wife and kids. This was just meant to be a friendly Chinese meal. Big John was in trouble.
Thanks, John.
Chicken balls.
Hang on.
Thank God for that.
Poor Blimey. That was a close one.
Unbelievable.
Now, can we watch it one more time? Can we just watch the bit in the middle where he's got... Because what he does in this clip is he does like 7 different reactions to her potentially squeezing his bollocks.
In 1 second.
In one...
Big John's got a wife and kids. This was just meant to be a friendly Chinese meal. Big John was in trouble.
At this bit, what's quite funny, they've done this shot, but he's completely given up on acting in the background. He's just watching her.
Thanks, John.
He's trying to make sure that he doesn't.
The chicken balls.
The chicken balls. It's too much. It's just too much. And I think when you'll remember there as well that the end gag is the kind of panning around, and Big John's wife's there. Charlotte.
I think that's his wife.
I think his wife's name's Charlotte, and she's kind of acting in it as well. And I think one thing about it that's particularly interesting is he never could have imagined where this would end up, right? But she definitely could have. Do you know what I mean? Like if you said to her, like, so your partner, your husband, he's gonna be so famous, he's gonna be making his own talk show in the kitchen of your house, the first guest of which is a very prominent OnlyFans actress, and you're going to be involved in insinuating that you'd murder her if she shagged him.
When they were stood at an altar in Romford
1984.
20 years ago, do you take this man in sickness and in health? And what that means in sickness and in health is even when he's got to a point that he's touring the country student unions, throwing prawn crackers at young girls wearing fucking next to nothing, do you commit to being stood there with your frying pan ready to fucking box an OnlyFans star around the head if she actually squeezes your husband's testicles? Because that's what's implied.
I do. Oh man, it's just incredible, and it's like it's a family affair, and it's like you say, you kind of feel like it's your dad, and that's kind of part of the joy of it, really, isn't it?
I think the reason you enjoy it is because you sit there thinking, Jesus Christ, what if my dad was sat next to an OnlyFans star who your goofy little brother's been tugging himself to all fucking week leading up to this filming? What would my dad be doing? What would my mum be doing? And it is that kind of everyman thing. I nearly said only man.
Only man. That's a good idea, actually. We can get Big John on Only Man, and all he's doing is talking about his mental health 24 hours a day. Pay me $5.99 a week, and I'll talk about my men's mental health.
The next clip that I want to show is it's kind of... I don't know if this is a mental health clip.
Right.
The next clip is him talking about his Rottweiler.
Yes. I think this does classify as a mental health clip, yeah.
In this clip, Big John, I think it's about 2 or 3 in the morning, and this is it's a good example of why we started the podcast, because this is something I was sending to you at God knows what hour.
Yeah.
Because I sort of watched this unfold over the course of my evening. It started with him. It was a summer's day, and he was halfway through his first bottle of rosé. I think he was sorting out some tickets for his son's fight. He sort of got more and more pissed. You saw him have people round for a Chinese. You saw them sort of disappear. He publishes this video at about 2 or 3 in the morning. He's hammered. He's got through about 3 bottles of rosé alone.
Yes.
He's got God knows what music playing, as loud as it will go on the Bosch in the living room.
Yeah, he's got some really... let's talk about the music once we watch the clip, because it is like a kind of ethereal, like kind of Brian Eno of situation, to the point where it almost feels like he's used it to soundtrack the emotional content of what he's talking about. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and the content of what he is talking about... something's happened to him, and he's heartbroken, and he's talking about how you can't trust human beings, but you can trust dogs. Should we watch?
Yeah, let's watch the clip.
It's Big John checking in here Friday night.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what?
What?
Give me fucking Rottweiler over people any day.
Sorry?
They fucking die for you. They do anything for you. How many people would do that for you?
My mum, probably my dad.
Fucking Rottweiler would die for you.
Yeah, I think my
How
mum.
many people would do that for you?
Like I said, my mum or my dad.
Answer me, you can't,
I
can
can,
you?
I just did.
But
Can't shut up.
I forgot
Fucking
about that.
Rottweiler
I
would
forgot
die for you.
I forgot that. You can't, can you? What?
You can't answer me, can you? Tell me someone who died for you. My friends and family. No, you can't. Bosh.
Like you say, I think this one is particularly interesting and funny because his main persona is like happy-go-lucky. I'm Big John. Here's American Bosch.
Yeah. We're all getting on with it, aren't we? Life's a bit hard, but if we go,
exactly.
stay positive.
Yeah. Stay positive. Men's mental
Right?
health.
It's all gone. I don't know what's happened to him.
No.
I don't know. Someone has betrayed him that evening. I don't know whether they've eaten his last prawn cracker. I don't know if someone's grassed him up to the wife. You know, he's been watching that OnlyFans star. Someone's done something.
You should have
to
whacked
him.
around the head with that frying pan when you had the chance.
And he feels so betrayed. I mean, the Rottweiler's not even in shot. The Rottweiler who died for him has left him alone on the sofa listening to whatever the fuck that is in the background.
The Rottweiler's burying its head in the pillow, going, "I wish he'd turn the fucking pan off." I'm trying to have a sleep. It's been a long day. We've had a lot of people around. They've had 10 people around for a Chinese again.
I've got a dicky tummy where you've been feeding me leftover fucking kung po prawns again.
I'm shitting through the eye of a needle here. And my owner is going,
Filming
fucking
himself.
middle-aged woman on Facebook. You know who your friends are. Don't trust your Auntie Donna. Do not trust her.
Also, he's pissed enough that he's not speaking in proper sentences. Like, he stopped using, like
Plurals.
yeah.
Rottweiler.
Rottweiler would die. Not a Rottweiler. Rottweiler.
Not
would die.
Rottweilers.
It's like Superman. Rottweiler would die for you.
Is his dog's name Rottweiler?
No, well, I don't know if it's called the Boschweiler. Is it?
This is my dog. It's a Rottweiler, and I've called it Rottweiler. That would make more sense if he's done that.
It's like a Pokemon. Our Pikachu's just called Pikachu. It is a Pikachu, but it's also just called Pikachu. This is Rottweiler. Rottweiler, come over here.
Second Pokemon reference of the episode. Wouldn't have had that down. It's just so good. And like you say, the anger. What has someone done to him? And how has it prompted him to be like, do you know what? Dogs are better than humans. Which is kind of a live, laugh, love kind of vibe,
it
isn't
is.
it?
Kind of, but it's also how many of his mates who've just been round his house have gone, fucking hell.
Yeah.
That's a nice night at John and
Charlotte.
John and Charlotte's house, wasn't it? Yeah, always nice to go around there for
Always
a meal.
good to go around there.
Oh, God, I better get to bed. I'll just go on
Just go on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Oh, God. Oh, look, John's uploading something. I wonder if he's doing the washing
what's he
up.
done? What's he
Hold
done?
on a minute.
Hello,
Big
John.
John checking in here Friday night. Do you know what?
Maybe he's going to mention how nice the meal was.
Give me fucking Rottweiler over people any day.
What have we done to upset
Fucking
John?
die for you.
Jan, did you say
Do
something to
anything
John?
for you. How many people would do that for you?
Well, we would, John.
We would, John.
Fucking Rottweiler would die for you. How many people would do that for
We
you?
would. I'm telling you. Get
Answer
John
me,
on the
you
phone.
can't, can you? Bosh.
Always good to sign off with the Bosch as well.
Yeah, well, I think, also, what situation is he imagining where it would ever be necessary for the dog to die for him?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Someone kicks the window in and goes, right, dog, it's you or your owner. Now, pick. You or Big John dies right now. We're either going to shoot you or Big John.
Rottweiler, no. Oh man, it's such a funny construct, isn't it? Like that's people are bad. People are useless. Do you know who's really good? My dog, Rottweiler.
But
he would die
it's
for
the
me.
Tony Soprano thing again. I think
is.
season 4 of The
The ducks,
Sopranos. Yeah, it's
or
the
the horse.
ducks, it's the horse. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's such a complex individual that he can never find true companionship and love in a human being.
From his
And
wife.
he has to resort to like the kind of like dumbed down innocence of a mutt. Do you know what I mean? It's like human beings will only, he's such a powerful being in his field of, Romford super geezer that like he's being betrayed left, right, and centre, and the only person he can trust now is the fucking Rottweiler.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I think what I do like though is that whilst he does the odd video like that, he has not gone down the men's mental health route fully. Do you know what I mean? Like he's talked about dieting, he's talked about that kind of thing, but like he'll just that is his contribution to the world of men's mental health.
He's not cashed in. Do you know what I mean? It's like he really could.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you could really imagine like the Calm Zone doing a video of like Big John walking down the street being
Positivity
like,
Bosches.
Not easy being a geezer, is it? Big John knows best. you know, from the outside, his life looks great.
Yeah.
Interviews with us, you know.
With porn stars.
He has porn stars squeezing his chicken balls every other week. He drives around the country with his son saying Bosch for money.
At a nightclub in Exeter.
But deep down, Big John also has mental health. Sometimes it's not easy to talk about. Sometimes you have to paper over it with a smile. And sometimes you make a video at 3 a.m. about how your dog's the only people who you know who would die for you.
Imagine that being the cure. What you want to do is you want to go on Instagram and in public start talking when you're quite pissed about how people always let you down.
It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to make videos about how your dog would die for you.
3 in the morning.
It's okay to drink enough rosé that you're crying down the front at 3 in the morning.
What with Brian Eno in the background. What I would say is that, and I think the next clip kind of illustrates this quite nicely, is he also kind of gets into the he's quite, what's the word, middling on the world of politics. Do you know what I mean?
I think the next clip we're going to show, he's talking about politics, but there's also a bit of context around it, which is like, this was put up at a time, I think it was kind of during one of the lockdowns or something, when politics kind of was on everyone's lips a lot. Fucking boring.
Yeah.
Like, it was at a time when all anyone would talk about is, well, you know what Boris has done now? Do you know what I mean? And it's like...
The last fucking 10 years of my life have just been that. You know what he's done now? I don't care. He's not even the Prime Minister for like 2 years. So just fuck it off. I'm not bothered.
The Have I Got News For You Twitter account going,
my
well,
God.
you know, you think you've got a lot of bread in the cupboard. Well, it's not as many as Boris has got children.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's such shit like that. It's so
God.
boring. But like John does occupy that kind of like practical everyman middle ground of going... You know, fed up with it. They're all fucking arseholes. It's not about point scoring on either side. And this little speech that he delivers here, I would go as far as to say is Churchill-esque.
Evening all. Just a quick note. What's happened to our once great country, the United Kingdom, that defied and defeated evil on more than one occasion? What have we got in charge of us now? Self-centred politicians just thinking about lining their own pockets and what they can get out of it for themselves.
Now, I love the start so much, just to pause it there. Defied and defeated evil on more than one occasion.
What I would say is fantastic about that's a fucking wonderful line.
That's a brilliant
Someone
line.
call Starmer now and tell him open your next one with that, mate.
Yeah.
Second, that's like, I think it's fair to say that's written.
Yes,
Someone's
I think
prepared
so.
that.
So.
I'll give John the credit. He's
Yeah,
probably written
yeah.
that himself. He delivers that down the barrel without blinking. There's no auto cue there.
No.
Fucking Nish Kumar isn't capable of that.
No, I think it's fair to say that the Big John could be on live telly. He could do comic relief off the back of this, I think.
Get Kumar, fuck him off to America and let Big John take the...
Let Big John take the wheel.
Let him do...
I mean, it gets even
match
better as
report.
well. Listen to this.
On both sides, don't worry about that. Labour and Conservatives. Look, Labour is so poor in opposition, the Conservatives are just doing what they want. It's not good. It's not healthy. We're supposed to be a democracy.
Okay.
At the moment, I can vote for neither. I'm telling you, I'm politically homeless. There must be a couple of good politicians out there. Step forward. Start talking up. Get the people behind you. There's got to be. We can't just be left with what we got, surely. Chin up, everyone. It'll improve soon. I'm sure of it. But let's get through these times together. Bosh.
What a rallying call. Chin up, everyone. I'm sure it'll improve soon, but let's get through this together. Put your coat on, sit in the kitchen, chat a load of bollocks down your camera. Yeah, Bosh.
Do you know, the first time I watched it, I was pretty sure. You know, he says, there must be someone out there. Step forward. And I was like, he's going to say, actually, I'll step forward. I was almost certain that, like, you could play some music over that. You could have, like, da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da.
My name's Big John, and I'm calling on you to vote for me to
Yeah.
clean up our streets.
The Buffet.
What do you think his policies would be if he was to run for office? If Big John ran for office, there'd be something about Chinese food.
Yeah, that
There'd be
would
like
probably be the
reduce
headline.
VAT on that and lager.
And it would be it would be like under the premise of like supporting small businesses.
Yeah.
It'd be like
Yeah.
the Chinese bill or something like that.
Yeah.
And the premise would be like cut VAT on all sweet and sour related products. in order to support your local Chinese restaurant. Yeah.
What else would he do?
I don't know, actually. I think there's got to be something around sport and boxing in there, right? He loves that so much.
Yeah. The thing is with people like Big John, and it, you know, not to go too political here, but I think this is why we shouldn't have been given the Brexit vote. That's why we can't leave people like us to decide what the fucking country should do. Because the problem is, he's the kind of person you'd get chatting to down the pub, and he'd start sort of presenting his political views, and he'd go, let's just make it a bit fucking fairer for everyone. And you'd go, yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, and then he'd say something like, oh, you know, we'll cut VAT on sweet and sour product. You go, oh, I like a Chinese, that sounds good, mate. But then there'd just be something mad in there, like, and also bring back hanging for anyone who kicks a dog. And you go, oh, God. Yeah. All the money that we spend on rehoming paedophiles, put it into grassroots football, and we'd have an England team that would win a World Cup. Oh, fucking hell.
I was right there with you. Yeah, exactly. Anyone that does anything that the RSPCA don't like, my son will knock them out and we'll hang them from a bridge. That will be what it is. I think that kind of like this like they're all as bad as each other vibe. I think that was really present during the COVID thing. Yeah, and that really made that really like I love that from him of just like step forward. Like who? What do you mean?
But that's what it was, and that's what he did. But it's literally what happened. Do you know what I mean?
He stepped forward. He filled the void.
We were all. But that's genuinely why he's big. It's like he did step forward. He did fill the void. We were all fucked. We were all lost. We were all fucking locked inside, drinking ourselves silly at 4 PM. It was dark. It was all that was during the winter lockdown. You can tell because he's wearing a fucking $6,000 goose down coat. Fair play to him for wearing it in the video. I'll have my Stony on in the next one. But the point is,
trying to get his CP badge in there. Yeah,
we needed someone to sort, and he did. He did step forward.
He's not the hero we deserved, but he's the hero we need right now.
He was the hero we needed right now, and in the same way as Tony Soprano, he was flawed. He didn't have any answers really. No,
I think that's fair to say. Apart from murder.
Yeah, apart from don't trust humans because your Rottweiler's the only thing that will die for you. But he stepped forward, and I think sort of bringing it round full circle to my point at the start. He's a family man. Yeah. He's hardworking. He's as clueless as the rest of us.
But he's giving it a go.
Yeah. And he's given us something that we needed, which is Bosch.
Which is,
I will say this.
He's given the world.
How many times do you not know how to end a sentence and you can just say Bosch?
Yeah.
The amount
Try and do it less at work, but yeah.
Well, I remember at the time I went on holiday around that time, and it was a holiday with just me and one other guy, right. and you know, we sort of saw other people while we were out there, but it was just the two of us staying together on this holiday. The amount of times where, and I think anyone who's not even just like, I wouldn't even say Cockney, but if you're just from like the south of England,
yeah,
like you'll have this. Everyone would have had this where you're with a mate and you go, I don't know, some like practical comment. You'd just be like, what should we do today? Do you want to go down the beach? Yeah, all right. How long you be? 20 minutes. All right, sweet. Bosh. It's literally that. Every time you're trying to... I was on Stag Do the other day. It's the same thing. How long are you going to be till you're ready? Just need to have a shower, 20 minutes. All right, sweet. I'll meet you downstairs. Bosh! It just ends it. You proposed the other day, didn't you, Jacob? Yeah, I got down on one knee for my missus. How was it, mate? Yeah, great. Excited to spend the rest of your life with your missus? I am. Bosh! If you don't know how to end a sentence, if you and a male friend have strayed a little bit too close to earnestness in your conversation,
exactly.
And it's a bit awkward, you don't know how to end it, Bosh.
And Dad, I love you. Bosh.
I think that's as good a place as any to end the podcast.
It is, yeah. And I hope that you feel more aware of who Big John is, his importance to our culture.
Watch a load of it. There'll be something in there for you. And I will say, by the way, just sort of, this has been our first episode of this. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, subscribe on YouTube. We're putting up clips on Instagram and stuff like that. Share them where you can. Jake and I obviously perform in our own right. Come and see us live. Thanks for supporting, and see you next week.
How do we end it?
Bosh.